All right, well, welcome everybody. My name is Darnell Self, and today I have the opportunity to share with you all the same information that was shared with my wife and I years ago. We first took a look at this program, and I just couldn't believe that something like this really existed. And if it did, how come I didn't know about it? And if I'd known about it, man, I would have taken advantage of it a long time ago. And so now I know about it, and now that my wife and I've had the experience that we've had, and we lived the life that we're blessed to live, I can't stop talking about it, and I will forever, right? So I took a look at this information. I was in my 20s. I just turned 50. And so, but now I have the opportunity to talk about that 21 year or so experience. And so I'm speaking from experience. I'll share with you some information that if it is for you, can quite frankly change the trajectory, the legacy that you're creating for your family. And listen, not everything's for everybody. Not everybody's for everything. And so my first mentor said, Darnell, never convince people to do anything they don't want to do, because then they'll do it because you're convincing them to do it, not because they made their own decision to do it, and they won't succeed anyway. And so the first part of this presentation, I'll share with you why now, right? What's happening in the world today that you should know about. And if not, I'm going to make you aware of it so that you are aware. Secondarily, I'm going to talk about the services that we provide, because I believe in creating value, right? And when you can create value, you can bring value to others. And by the way, you get compensated for it. That's a wonderful thing. And then lastly, I will talk about money. I'll talk a little bit about how we can create additional cash flow for the average person. And listen, I know that sometimes you talk about money and people feel a little uncomfortable. My mother used to say, Darnell, money can't buy you happiness. Well, look at the smile on my face. Right? But it's not the money, it's the things you can do with it when money doesn't matter anymore, right? There's a different feeling in the morning when you wake up, no longer concerned about how you're going to pay your bills, but thinking about who you can bless that day because your bills have been paid. And so we'll talk about that at the very end. So I'm going to do a screen share here so that you have an opportunity to actually see the presentation as well as hear the presentation from me. And so I quickly want to share with you a little bit about my family, so you know who's doing the speaking today. I'm in Mexico right now. I do travel a lot, but I'm from Maryland. Born and raised. I live about 10 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. with my wife here. My oldest son is out on his own now, and he's 29 years old. And then my next to the oldest son is a senior in college. My son kneeling there is a freshman in college. And then my daughter is a senior in high school. And so we're almost empty nesters. Can't believe it. We've been with Legal Shield, a company I'll share with you today, for 21 years. My wife and I both had a background in retail. I worked in retail management. So did she, until she got a job with her college degree in broadcast journalism at a cable station called BET. I'll never forget, at 29, she went on maternity leave. We call it eternity leave because she never went back. She's been a stay-at-home mom now for 19 years. My wife and I have been blessed to earn millions of dollars. I don't say that to impress anyone, but to impress upon you that everyone has an opportunity to have unlimited amounts of success here because there's no ceiling. Our team is what we're most proud of. Just like in real estate, if you're a broker, you can have a team of real estate agents. Well, we have a team of agents, we call them associates, who've been very successful. You can see the numbers there. We have 25 people on our team that have been paid over $1 million. And again, listen, this is not a get rich quick. You've got to put something in. But guess what? I put in a whole bunch of hours at the mall, 60 to 80 hours a week running that store at the mall, the men's and women's clothing store. And I made about $40,000 a year. But it wasn't the mall's fault. I knew that when I accepted the job, that was the max that I could make. And so I couldn't be mad at the mall. I had to be mad at myself for expecting something more than what I knew was already going to happen, which is I was going to end up living at a $40,000 a year salary. And that's not what I wanted for my family. So Legal Shield came along, right? And it changed everything. So listen, the most important thing I want you to know is that we market an amazing service. So we have over 150,000 customers, my wife and I, that currently pay every single month. They subscribe to the service. And here's what's happening in the world. Here's why the timing is so critical right now. I'm not sure if you've ever heard about disruptive innovation, right? Digital disruptors. Like, people used to shop at the mall all the time. Now there's a package that comes to my house almost every day. I guarantee when I get home from on this vacation, there'll be packages there at my door that my daughter has ordered, right? Something from Amazon, right? We know that that's been a disruptive innovation. Why? Because brick and mortars who have been around for a long time have now actually shut down their stores, right? The retail stores are gone. And so we realize that's happening, right? How about buying CDs? Like my daughter's Jeep didn't even come with a CD player. Right now, you've got Bluetooth and you've got Spotify, you got Apple Music. I can walk into a store and like a song, press an app on my phone, and all of a sudden it's downloaded to my phone. I don't even have to know what the song is. The app will listen to the song, right? All that's changed now. You don't have to buy a bunch of CDs. So you can now do those type of things through what we call disruptive innovation. Listen, you know, Uber has done it to the transportation industry. Airbnb has done it to the accommodations industry. Netflix has done it to the video rental industry. So we know disruptive innovation is happening. You have to ask yourself, are you positioned to profit off of that, right? That's what we're going to talk about today, because we realize something's happening with the justice system, right? We know unfortunately, the average person could never afford access to the justice system. So the real color of justice is green. We get as much justice as we can afford. I have a buddy of mine who's an attorney. He says, Darnell, in certain situations I've seen where it's better to be rich and guilty than to be poor and innocent. And that's a sad state of affairs. But Legal Shield to the rescue, because we have disrupted that industry and we've made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. Instead of the $300 an hour rate for an attorney, which most people cannot afford, we've made it $1 a day, about $25 a month. I know you're thinking, no way could you do that. Well, it's not your dollar, my dollar. It's called shared economy, group buying power, when over 1 million people are doing that. You see, our company, Legal Shield, is not a startup company. We're not wondering if this works. It's been around since 1972. We have 4.4 million lives that we protect across the United States and Canada, just launched into the UK. We have a lot of third-party validation, which is important to me because at 28 years old, when I started with Legal Shield, people were like, well, how do I know this is legit? How do I know it's real? Well, Forbes magazine, Yahoo Finance, CNBC, Bloomberg, the Better Business Bureau all said wonderful things about Legal Shield. This slide was helpful to me because I thought, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't break the law. I don't really need to pay for a lawyer. But bad things happen to good people all the time, right? Good people sign contracts and documents and later on wish they wouldn't have signed them. Good people have been overcharged for repairs, treated unfairly, taken advantage of, had a landlord-tenant issue. So these are all situations that happen to everyday people. We just don't think about it. So here's what your app looks like. Get with the person who invited you to watch this presentation and say, look, I'd love to have access to that app. Once you do, you're going to wonder, how in the world did I live without it? Because again, you don't have to stress. You don't have to guess. You just pick up the phone and you say, you know what? Let me ask a question. Because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. It's like when I had a situation with my truck and the dealership didn't do what I thought they should do. I called Legal Shield. Legal Shield said, based on when you bought the truck, the make and model, the issue you're having, if they keep your truck for 3 days on the same issue, it falls under the limit law. They have to give you a new truck. It's like one of my members, her son had an off-campus apartment, and once he was ready to check out for that semester, they wouldn't give him his security deposit back because it was a black mark on the wall where he was leaning back with his chair while he was doing his homework. We could have easily painted that, right? Anybody could have, but they wouldn't give him his $500 security deposit back. But Legal Shield made one phone call on his behalf. You see, a lawyer writing a letter, making a phone call means a lot more than you and I arguing back and forth over a security deposit or whatever the situation may be, a warranty. And so, of course, he got a security deposit back. Not only will they do that, they'll also review contracts and documents. They said a bold print give it, but the fine print take it away. And so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Don't sign anything without your attorney taking a look at it first. That saved me $10,500 on one real estate transaction. Irs Audit Assistance, just in case you're named in a tax audit. And this is important because we don't just have access to an attorney, you have access to law firms. So if I have a real estate question, I want to have access to a lawyer that has experience in real estate law. Like, listen, every lawyer doesn't know every area of law, like every doctor doesn't know every area of medicine. So even my buddies that are lawyers love Legal Shield because their family members call them all the time asking legal questions they can't answer because they don't know every area of law. So you have a tax situation there. We're going to help you out. Civil trial defense, pre-trial, and actually in court time. You get 60 hours your first year, then another 60 hours your second year. That's 120 hours. Third year, 180 hours. Fifth year, you have 300 hours of pre-trial and actual trial time in a civil lawsuit there. Anything that falls outside of that, you get a discount on. And I love discounts on everything that I do. Family domestic services, this one's after you've been a member for 90 days. This one takes effect. That's for uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, and name change. Everything else, you can start using it right away. Emergency legal access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Listen, here's one of the areas I love because it gives my wife and I peace of mind. I share with you my family. So 3 of our kids are out of the house. And great people, right? Great young men, but they could be great young men at the right party, wrong crowd, wrong time. If they're being questioned, detained, or arrested, you want to make sure they have access to their lawyer. That's their Miranda. So you want to make sure you have access to this. I'm telling you, it's peace of mind. Traffic assistance. I've got a speeding ticket out of state. I didn't have to go back to that state. I called my firm in my state in Maryland. They called the firm in that state. They went out to go assist me. My point was dropped. My points were dropped. My fine was dropped. I think it was like $30 in court costs. I would have spent way more than $30 to get back to that state to represent myself because I didn't want to get the points on my license because then my insurance would go up. So if you have teenage drivers or you drive like a teenager, this is going to be really good for you. Will preparation. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you, when I started with Legal Shield, I was married with 2 kids. Again, we have 4 now, but I didn't have a last will and testament. Legal Shield gives you one, so you don't have to worry about the cost. We give you one just by being a member, and we also prepare your living will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney. You can start that with the press of a button right on your app. Start filling out the questions. There are questions there I didn't even know. I would have never known to ask myself, my spouse that question, or even thought about putting those things in my will until I completed it here with Legal Shield. So congratulations on having your last will and testament. You also get a discount on anything that falls outside of the 100% coverage. But as you can see here, while 80% of the member usage, because we have data, right? We've done metrics, been around for over 40 years. We know that while 80% of member usage is covered under our monthly fee of $25 a month, anything that falls outside of that, you're still going to get a preferred member discount of 25%. That means after today, once you download the app from the person who invited you to watch this, you'll never have to pay 100% for your attorney fees again. At minimum, you get a discount, even on pre-existing legal matters. That's huge. Try to get auto insurance once you've already banged up the car and you didn't have auto insurance. Right? Try to get health insurance with a pre-existing health condition. So this is powerful to have access to this. Who's covered? As you can see, their family's protected here, which I love because I added my oldest son to my auto insurance policy. It went up. My next son, it went up. My next son, it went up. My daughter, it went up. Here, all under one monthly fee, your family's protected. So which would you choose here? One lawyer charging $250 an hour, entire law firm for $24.95 a month, $25 a month. It's a no-brainer. I can't believe I get to do this for a living. Listen, I have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a JD. I didn't go to law school, but I get to stand in the middle. The lawyers do an amazing job, average of 22 years of experience. And the clients who say, makes sense to me, I put them together, we make a whole lot of money. I just market the service, the lawyers provide the service, and it's a win-win-win situation for everybody. Even my wealthy clients who make millions of dollars in their businesses, they may keep their lawyer on retainer for that business, but they don't want to call that same lawyer for a speeding ticket for their son. So they have Legal Shield as well. Our only other service that we provide, our additional app here, is called our ID Shield. Why? Identity theft is a fast growing crime. Criminals don't just want your money anymore. They want your identity. It is not just financial. As you can see, it's tax return fraud, medical claims, social security claim. So on our app, you're going to have access to your credit score. We're sending you push notification on sex offender monitoring, social media monitoring, your entire digital DNA. We're going to monitor for you. But more importantly, we're going to restore it back to pre-theft status. If you know anyone who's a decision maker, human resource director, CEO, listen, we're one of the hottest employee benefits today because employers are tired of employees taking time off, trying to handle situations they're not proficient in. And with the limited power of attorney, our investigators can go in as that employee to restore their identity for them while the CEO looks like a hero for offering such an amazing benefit. So great opportunity. I have colleagues to earn 6 figures a year solely by doing that. It's not what I did, but you can do that if that's your space. So we're going to restore it back to pre-theft status. You can add additional $5 a month, and we'll monitor all 3 credit repositories, also known as credit bureaus. And so with a $1 million protection policy, as you can see here again, the person who invited you to watch this will help you to include your family members so that they're protected as well. And here's our price points. Real simple, $49.90 a month for the family plan. That's $24.95 for the ID Shield, $24.95 for the Legal Shield. If you're single, don't have any dependents, it's only $34.90. And again, you can always add $5 to either one of those for all 3 credit bureau monitoring. Here's our member perks. I love this. My kids love this because we like to save money, right? Whether it's on food, whether I'm going to Costco to renew my Costco membership, whether I'm renting a car, staying at a hotel. My wife and I bought a refrigerator, saved $190 on that refrigerator. We've saved from Best Buy and saved from Samsung because it was a Samsung refrigerator at Best Buy. So make sure you check out your member perks. We have over 400 vendors that give us a discount, which is going to save you more money than you're actually spending for your plan. Listen, the last part of our presentation is how we get paid. I'm going to quickly go through this because, listen, quite frankly, it just makes sense. It's a no-brainer. We're not talking about $2,000. We're talking about $50 a month to have access to your rights and your identity monitored and restored just in case there's a breach there. This is all we do. We let people know this exists. On a $49.90 plan, we make $60 at the beginning level. That's an associate. Go out and get a few customers. You move up. Now you're making $120 every single time. Manager, $140, like 8 customers. So every time you get customers, the more you get, the more you start to get paid. So at some point, you go to show someone a video, you send them a link, they like what they see, you get paid $280. It's like the guy at the gym who was complaining to me about his landscaper who didn't want to return his call. Now they already paid him, but didn't finish the work. I said, man, you got to call Legal Shield. He says, I never heard of that. I said, I'll show you the app after this set. Showed him the app. He said, man, it makes sense to me. I made $300 while I was at the gym. Why? Because you listen differently once you know about this. Remember I said, once you know certain things, once you become aware of certain things, it makes a difference because you can't unhear it, right? You can't unknow it. And so here's what's so powerful. You get to earn income off of a team override. Just like a real estate broker has a real estate agent, Marcus, who sells the home, you make a percentage. Same thing here. So if you're a manager today and you're making $140, when Darnell on your team goes out and shares the service, I make $60. But I could be in Maryland. You can be in California. Every time I make 60, you make 20 plus 20, which is your override for $40. So you make 40 every time I make 60. Are you mad that I made more? No. You're like, go, Darnell, go. At my job, my boss always made more. His boss made more than both of us, right? The people at the top made the most. Legal Shield said, flip that corporate pyramid upside down, pay the person who's doing the work the most. The person who's not doing the work won't mind getting a piece of something they didn't even do. That's my story. Introduced my buddy, Mike Humes. Mike Humes delivered mail for a living. When he made $100, Legal Shield sent me $30. That was the override difference between us at the time. When Mike Humes made $1,000, Legal Shield sent me $300. Mike Humes made $100,000. Legal Shield sent me $30,000 that year. I couldn't believe it. He quit his job as a mailman because he never made $100,000 running from dogs. But that year, I made $30,000 for something I didn't even do. I barely made when I did it. I'm like, let me find 9 more people. So when 10 people on our team started making 6 figures, Legal Shield sent us $300,000. 20 people on our team started making 6 figures, Legal Shield sent us $600,000. So the great thing about what we did is that we had an opportunity to help others rise up. We help others to earn income. So we didn't make money by keeping other people back. We made money by lifting other people up. My wife and I were blessed that 40 people on our team earned 6 figures before we turned 40 years old. So that's how that works. It's cumulative, by the way. And then lastly, residual income. That just simply means you continue to get paid month after month, year after year for something you did one time. Like when I quit my job at the mall, I said, I quit, can't take it anymore. They quit paying me, right? That's crazy. They have not sent me a check since I left. But with Legal Shield, the work I did at 28, 29, 30, 31, my 40s, now I'm 50, I'm still getting paid. Most of my income, I'm here in Mexico, most of my income continues to come in. 95% of my income comes in whether I get up to work or not. That's what you want because God forbid anything happen to you. You want your money to continue to grow. People say, well, I don't have a lot of time. No, you don't need more time. You need more team. Because when you have team, your income increases even when you don't have time. But I wasn't taught that in school. It's called Wealth 101. To get started with Legal Shield is a one-time $99. You own your book of business. It's portable, it's willable, whether I'm here in Mexico, whether I'm in London. Doesn't matter where I am. We can take our business anywhere with us. We have weekly training and support, all for that $99. Listen, typically to start your own business, you got to get some type of website, some video hosting, customer relationship tool. That's going to cost you a couple $100 in expenses. Legal Shield put it all together for $19.95 a month. So that means while I'm here, I can see who's watched the video. I can send them a video, tell me how much of the video they watched. I can do all of that. So if I know someone in San Antonio, who knows someone in Seattle, who knows someone in British Columbia, Canada, all of that's tracked right here through my phone. So I love that with Legal Shield. Here's our proven track record, GEDs, PhDs, those who have business experience, those who've never been in business, doesn't matter. Anyone can succeed here with Legal Shield. We have a great track record. We're not asking people whether they think Legal Shield works or not, just whether you want to participate and get a piece was already proven to work. And then finally, guys, here's your homework assignment. Enroll as a member. That way you can use it. You don't have to say, I heard, I think. The guy who talked really fast told me. You can say, I know. Use the membership yourself. That way you have your own experience. No one can talk you out of it. Secondarily, become an associate. Set up your website. So when you talk to someone about legal, you can say, let me see your video, right? I don't want to try to explain it. Let me see your video. And once they say they like it, they click on, yes, I want it. They enroll. Legal Shield knows it came from your website. It's attributed to you and you get paid for that. Get trained right away. We actually pay you additional monies, bonus money when you get trained. And guess what? There's some bonuses in place right now. Get with the person who invites you to watch this. $800 in bonuses you can earn your first 20 days with Legal Shield. So get with the person who invites you to watch this. They'll help you do this. Listen, last thing I want to share with you is this. And this is a piece of advice that my mentor shared with me. He said, Darnell, never convince people to do anything that they don't want to do, because then they'll do it because you convince them, not because They want to do it and they won't succeed anyway. But here's the second part of that I didn't mention earlier. He said, be careful buying the opinions of others, because if you buy their opinion, you must be willing to buy their lifestyle. And I'm so thankful he said that, because most of the people that worked at the mall with me who said, Darnell, man, that stuff will never work. Years later, we're still working at the mall. They were still working there. And I always thought if I bought their opinions, perhaps I would have bought their lifestyle. My kids certainly wouldn't be going to the schools they go to today without student loans. And we certainly wouldn't have the lifestyle we have today and the opportunity to give back to others. Thanks for having me today. Thanks for asking me to share this information. I hope you got something out of it. Congratulations for those who are getting started. I look forward to working with you all. God bless. Bye-bye.